Sigma men are often more equipped to handle certain criticism than the average man, but that doesn't make them completely immune to it. For Sigma, it often depends on the intentions and whether the criticism is actually constructive or pointless. They don't really appreciate their time being wasted on something that isn't useful or logical, so Sigmas take criticism differently depending on the situation. For Sigmas, it isn't about their feelings being hurt so much, as it is about the level of respect coming from the person delivering the criticism. They try their best to approach things logically and rationally, and don't want to allow their inner feelings to prevent them from seeing things more accurately. They value growing and learning, which is why Sigma males can often handle certain criticism fairly well. The mature Sigma is going to be much better at processing criticism, whereas a less developed Sigma is definitely going to struggle with handling this from certain people. It is also something that depends on the situation, rather than just how criticism affects Sigma as a whole. Criticism can often be difficult to swallow, even for people who appear to handle it better than others. For some, it is important to approach criticism logically, to tell whether or not it is helpful or constructive, or simply someone attempting to be rude. It doesn't much matter the intentions for others, as any kind of criticism can be harmful to them. Each person will handle being criticized in their own way, and will need to process this on their own time. Of course, being able to handle constructive criticism is something that is important in life. It isn't an easy thing to experience for most people. While the feedback can be intended as positive or helpful, for some people that doesn't make it much easier for them to really cope with how they feel in response to it. Sigma male and criticism. Sigma men value information, and also believe in growing and becoming a better version of themselves. They favor logic and facts, rather than approaching things based on their inner emotions or feelings. They also aren't that sensitive to the feelings of others, and instead, want to be helpful towards people in more practical ways. They do care about helping and making a difference, and they just value doing this in efficient and rational ways. The fact that Sigma males don't often allow emotions to control their behaviors or views, is actually what helps them handle criticism much better than most people. Instead of getting offended, Sigmas will try to look at the criticism objectively, and even analyze the information they are being provided with. They enjoy listening to someone who has truly logical and reasonable points, and they will take this in as best they can. Sigma men don't just believe what they are told, but they will certainly hear someone out when they can express things intelligently, without a lot of emotions being expressed. In this case, they want to take in the information, and consider whether or not it seems valid, especially if it is intended as constructive criticism. They take a lot of convincing and proof, before they change their minds about things, but that doesn't mean they don't want to hear what people have to express. This can help them adapt and change their own views, and even add some things they previously weren't aware of. Sometimes criticism can help them improve, especially in areas they feel they need a bit of work. They want to be able to improve, and sometimes taking in these critiques can actually be helpful in their eyes, especially for the more mature Sigma males. Why Sigma males dislike criticism. When a Sigma is not a fan of criticism, it is often because of the intentions behind it, and if it just isn't helpful at all. Someone who is only criticizing to be disrespectful or harmful will definitely anger the Sigma. Sigma men are likely to shut this person down rather quickly, wanting to avoid wasting their own time on someone who isn't productive. Sigma males are good at setting boundaries, and expressing when they are not going to deal with someone's negative behavior. They can often tell the difference between someone attempting to be helpful, or someone who is simply trying to start drama with them. They won't necessarily be hurt or offended by this, but they really don't want to spend any more time on that person. Sigma will likely cut people out of their lives who behave this way frequently, and would rather have companions who help them improve and are capable of growth themselves. When Sigma has to deal with someone who attempts to bring him down, or use the guide of constructive criticism as a means of insulting others, this really isn't someone he wants to spend his time around. While Sigma men can handle certain criticism, they don't feel it is smart to be around people who feel the need to constantly criticize and waste their time and energy. Ways to improve. Most Sigma men are great at dealing with criticism, because they can separate the constructive comments from people just attempting to be harmful. This is something that makes it easier for them to process the criticism, and recognize when they can improve. Sigma males can be a bit stubborn at times though, especially the less mature Sigma. They might struggle to really process certain criticism if they have a hard time letting down their guard, as their ego can sometimes stand in the way. While they might not appear hurt, they can still find themselves pushing away these comments, and not really considering if they are valid. This is something which matured Sigma men are not likely to do, since they enjoy growing and improving, and being open to information they may have been ignorant to. They try their best to consider what they could be lacking, especially if they have requested criticism over something. Sigma males just might be less receptive, if the comments are given during times when they didn't ask for it, and don't really want to hear it. Immature Sigma men might become sensitive to certain criticism, in areas where they are already hard on themselves. They try to be logical about things, instead of allowing emotions to control their behaviors, but they can certainly have moments of weakness. When the immature Sigmas feel overwhelmed by a project, and are already insecure about what they have accomplished, they can be a bit passive-aggressive towards any criticism they might receive. This isn't something they do intentionally, but it often means they need some sort of break and time, to reflect on why they are feeling this way. Ignoring their own emotions in favor of logic and reason, is something that can actually cause them to process criticism poorly at times. The best way to improve upon this, is by taking some time to understand their feelings, and why they might be sensitive about certain subjects or accomplishments. The important thing for a Sigma attempting to become stronger against criticism, is to learn to love himself first. Some Sigma men can sometimes struggle to see the good in themselves, always being their own worst critic. The fact that they are already hard on themselves, makes it so difficult for them to hear these things from anyone else. The first step towards growing that so-called thicker skin against criticism, is learning to accept themselves and their flaws without judgment. It definitely starts from within for Sigma males, so spending more time appreciating themselves and complimenting themselves, can actually be incredibly helpful for them. It can feel strange at first, but they need to take time to appreciate their own accomplishments and talents, instead of always seeing where they could improve or be better. In order to withstand outside criticism, they need to learn how to better handle it from themselves, and see their own abilities for what they are.